Hello and welcome to your first tutorial on game development and with OpenGL ES 2.0. And basically what we're going to be doing is starting just from the ground up and start with the blank project and just, going from there. And hopefully we'll just make some little game by the end of this. Now, the first part of this tutorial is going to just be setting it up. Setting up the eagle view, setting up the eagle layer, and displaying it. So by the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to use OpenGL and have a simulator or your device have an app that's going to have a green screen displayed. It's very exciting. Try to hold yourselves in your seats. Alright, now we're going to create a new Xcode project. Alright, it's going to be blank. We're going to call this project Simple Game. And I mean, another reason why I'm actually doing these tutorials is, I find it's like there's not many resources just getting started from the ground up with OpenGL. So, this is kind of thing. I won't really go in depth, with any of this, because that would be too complicated. And you can find those resources online. But this is just to kind of give you a head start into just so you don't have to discover all this by yourself like I did. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do is go into Simple Game, under the summary, under the target, and you have to add a new framework, and we're going to call this, when the framework we have to add is called Course Core. Alright, click Course Core, add. Now we have to add OpenGL ES. Yay! Now, I know that you're probably already screaming on your seats, but I just want to tell you that it's actually going to get better, So, just kind of be sure to be gripping your chair tightly. Right-click Simple Game, click New File, Objective-C class, and we're going to put the class, and we're going to call this Eagle View. Eagle View. Yeah. And Eagle View is going to be a subclass of UI View. It's very important that you did that, because if you don't, just pause the video and, do that. Otherwise, it won't work. Alright. Now, what we have to do is we have to import some files, such as the Course Core framework. And we also have to import part of the OpenGL framework, OpenGL ES / ES2 and gl.h. Alright, now, kind of how this works is under frameworks, where we have the OpenGL ES framework, go under it, you go to ES2, just like here, ES2, and you have gl.h. gl.h. It's fascinating. Told you it would be exciting. Now we have to import OpenGL ES, ES2 again, and we have to import glext. Oops, glext. Alright. Now, what we have to do now is we have to make an eagle context, and we're going to call this instance context. Alright, now go into the implementation and under if self, this is just where we, under initialization code, the comment initialization code, we're going to add the following: CA eagle layer, and that's going to be equal to CA eagle layer asterisk super dot layer. Boom. Now we have to make sure that this eagle layer is going to be opaque. So equals yes. And the reason we're doing this is because if it wasn't, then it would have lower performance. And we all love high performance. Now we have to make sure, now we have to set the context, and we have to make sure that this initializes with the OpenGL ES 2.0 API. So go to eagle context, alloc init with API, keagle rendering API, OpenGL ES 2. Not 1, because we're doing OpenGL ES 2.0. If you don't know the difference, I recommend that you look that up online before the next tutorial. Now, if the context fails to initialize, then we have to kind of, get out of it. Abort the eagle view. So this is just code. So if not context, and then we have to do if not eagle context set current context to context. Then we then we do this, self-release and return nil. Okay, that's all great. Now, going on beyond this, we have to create two things. One of which is a frame buffer, and the other one is a render buffer. Now, a frame buffer is basically a 2D kind of a, it's like a 2D, I have no idea how to, alright, it's like a 2D thing, and it's going to have information. And the information that we're going to be putting into it is colors. Alright? So, we have to make a frame, GL uint, then we have frame buffer, and then we also have to do a render buffer. What is it? Alright, then we also then we go and type in GL gen buffers, size of 1, and then we type in and frame buffer. What is it doing? Why is it acting so whack? GL gen buffers 1 and render buffer. Alright, sorry for that. GL bind frame buffer. GL frame buffer, and then frame buffer. Then we go into here, do GL bind render buffer, then GL render buffer, render buffer. So this code is basically going to be the same for each of the frame and render buffers, except for this part. So now we have to get to the context, and then we have to set the render buffer storage, and we have to go GL render buffer from drawable eagle layer. It's very neat stuff here. It's very interesting. You should be like an alcoholic who just drank alcohol. Now go GL frame buffer, render buffer, GL frame buffer, GL color attachment 0, and then GL render buffer. render buffer. Oops, my bad. GL, and now we have to do GL viewport. And the viewport is like your window into whatever. It's your window into, you know, the OpenGL stuff. So we're just going to set the values so it takes up the whole screen. But if you didn't, then it wouldn't take up the whole screen. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So go 0, 0, then we're going to go cgrect get width. Then then type in here, frame. And we get the frame when it's initialized. cgrect get height frame. Alright. I actually think that is all you need to type in right now. Yeah. Oh, that concludes that. So now we want this eagle view here to, oops, forgot an important part. You have to go here, you have to override the layer class. So plus class, layer class, here we go. Now return a eagle layer and then class. Basically what this does is it's going to take your normal UI view and it's gonna UI view layer and it's going to change it into an OpenGL layer. I think I did that right. Yeah, so that's important. Otherwise, the program will crash. Now go to the app delegate interface. Go here, type in GL view. Ooh, never mind. First we have to import the eagle view. Then we have to go eagle view and make an instance of this. Just call it GL view. And then go into the implementation of the app delegate. And what we're going to do is we're going to initialize the GL view. We're going to set this equal to exactly what the self.window is set to, except we're going to change the UI window property to eagle view. And so what this is, init with frame, so you get a cgrect, which is going to have that, and then so if you go into the eagle view, exactly the same. Alright, and there's only one more thing I think I have to do. Or no, there's a few more things, but in terms of hooking it up, there's one more thing. Change self.window.background color equals UI color white color. Just delete that, and instead we're gonna say self.window. We're gonna add a subview, and that subview is gonna be GL view, which is pretty simple, and then you just make it visible. Alright. So that should all work well. I'm sorry, I actually can't run this in the simulator. And the reason I can't run it in the simulator is that there's some problem with the simulator. So you're going to have to run it in I'm gonna be running it on my device, and I can't show you my device, unfortunately. But I'll at least be able to tell if what I'm giving you is working or not. Let's see if this is working. Yeah, that works. Alright. Now, there is one problem, though, and that problem is that if you did run it, which, if you didn't, I recommend that you do, you realize that there's that status bar at the top, and we want to get rid of that, so we go under the supporting files, and we go into simplegame-info.plist, and we right-click, go to Add Row, and this is going to be status bar. Oops. Status bar is initially hidden. And we have to set this value to yes. So now if you run it, it will have no status bar. Now, I believe at the beginning of this I said that we would be making a green screen. So, as I am a man of my word, you will make a green screen. It's even more exciting than what we've been doing beforehand. So now, go here, GL, create a new method, void, and call it render, and type in GL clear color. And all of these values are from 0 to 1, and if you've done RGB values before, you'll know that they're from 0 to 255. So what you do is you're going to divide every number by 255, except for the alpha, which you can just set to 1 or whatever. So go here, set the red. The red value is going to be equal to 50 divided by 255. The green value is going to be set to 205 divided by 255. The blue value is just going to be 50 divided by 255. The alpha is just going to be 1, which would be equivalent to just 255. Now you have to do GL clear. Just normal GL clear. We're gonna go GL color, and if you go under here, it's buffer bit. Alright, now you have to present this, so go context, present render buffer. And we're just gonna put in GL render buffer. Run that. It should be a green screen. If it's not, which it won't be. It's not a green screen. It won't be a green screen because we have to call the render button, the render method. There we go. That should be a green screen. But if it's not, it might just be because I didn't put dot zeros after all of these. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. No idea. Alright, that works. Alright. Yeah, so that's it. The next tutorial will be getting like squares on the screen, and yeah, just getting a square on the screen. The other tutorials will be getting the square to have properties like rotating. We're going to be able to rotate the square. We're going to be able to move the square. We're going to be able to change the opacity of the square. And I think that's actually just about it for now, for what I have planned. The fourth tutorial will be getting images on that square. We're going to texture it so you can actually, make game elements and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else I want to tell you before I end the video. Nope, nothing. Alright. Yep, thanks for your time. Hopefully you learned something. If not, I don't know what to say.